Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode number 10 of Intimacy Laws. And in today's episode, we'll learn about the fundamentals of friendship. So far, we have learned what is the difference between the code, laws and rules, what is objectification of humans, what is the difference between human beings and human things, how the society devolves humans into human things. We have understood what is love scientifically and physiologically, philosophically. We have understood what is respect, who can respect whom. We have understood what is responsibilities. We have understood other fundamentals such as the classes and objects in a relationship. And in today's episode, in today's session, we are going to dig deep into one more subject which has been again misled tremendously. As we have been discussing throughout our sessions and episodes, that we live in a modern world of lazy brains. The problem with lazy brains is that they think that whatever they think, they have a right to think and right to mitigate that thing or propagate that thing. If I cannot reach to the pyramid, I will find a house which has a triangle on top of it. I can call it a pyramid, and then I can call it my perspective and view. And I will not stop there. I will want the entire world to validate me that it is indeed the pyramid. Now, that's fine up to our level of childishness. The problem becomes when such nuances gets propagated in the name of opinions, views, and so on and so forth. The desire to understand the basics is lost. People then look for 10 ways to have a better friendship, 10 things that the friends do together. Life is not about 1, 2, 3 things. Life is about fundamentals. And unless and until you start becoming good with the fundamentals and you practice them, you think about them, you philosophize them, then your life is always going to be a mess. Because most of the people who propagate such opinions, views, have not worked hard to go deeper into the subjects, have not explored those subjects in their world. They have remained very, very constrained in their academic field. A friendship is one such nuance. People have no understanding. Most people in the social media space as what friendship really is. And the social media, in social media, you can become friends with somebody and you think, okay, you have a connection and that's a friendship, or you share some messages, that's friendship. And this episode becomes very, very important because of various reasons. Today, if you ask a girl, what do you look in your life partner? And the girl will say, I want him to respect me. I want him to support me in my career. I want him to be helpful of me. I want him to love me. And I want him to make me laugh. I want him to be my friend. That's pretty much the answer that you can get from girls across the world. And the problem with this kind of repetitive reductionist world is that it pretty much comes back and hurt people a great deal. Alright, so let's understand what is friendship. I had not introduced myself at the beginning of the video today. So those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome you all. I'm Rupam, founder and CEO of Aculi Labs Private Limited, creator of Lifers, and author of the book Intimacy Lost for Men, The Birth of Lugal. And in our intimacy laws episodes, we focus on the fundamentals, we take on the definitions, we try to understand them scientifically, we try to make more sense out of them, we go deeper, and we really invest a good amount of time, 50 minutes to 1 hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour, to understand each of the subjects, because fundamentals of life are not 500 words blog. They're really complex, and you just cannot understand something by one-liner. You need to dig deep down. And the reason these episodes are being kept intentionally longer is to avoid getting views from those people who are not serious about their life, who do not pay attention to the details, who don't want to learn, and who want to suffer. It's their choice. People like you who are really focused on improving your life. It's a daily improvement, and if you cannot invest 1 hour of your life in understanding the fundamentals in a world where everything is corrupted, where you don't know the difference between a gold and a manganese, you don't know the difference between gold and copper. It's a world where plastics have been said that plastic is the new gold, because this is my perspective. It doesn't happen. And you continue, if you do what everyone else is doing, then you end up suffering the way everyone else is suffering. So, welcome you all again, and in this episode, we are discussing about friendship. You may be wondering, we are quite ahead, and we have spent 5 to 10 minutes already in this video, and we have not discussed anything about friendship as of yet. And why do we spend so much of time? Why don't we come back to the point directly? Why can't we just constrict the videos for 5 minutes? Understand this. To understand anything, to live life, we can't live life with feelings. We have learned the difference between feelings and emotions already. So we don't understand anything if you're not emotionally connected with a person. Emotionally connected, not feeling-wise connected, because if your feeling varies continuously, your mind is pretty much diverted. You are out of the subject. You are thinking something else. You are not focusing on the subject. And therefore, what happens is that my emotions and your emotions are not coupling. So my words will not be received by your brain. That is the reason in every class I try to go a little slower, so that your body, your brain can get into the class, can feel it, and slowly you start internalizing me, and then you receive those words. So through these classes, I try to share whatever I try to educate you, not share. I try to educate you with whatever knowledge I have acquired in my life, through real life events, and my life story some other day, but through real life events, by teaching thousands of students, doing a lot of projects, working with various set of people across different areas. Now, the reason that we go slow at the beginning of these videos and we don't just come to the point is because it is not important for you to know the information. Whatever I am saying is not an information. It's an education. It's a knowledge. And the reason that you can spend 50 minutes is not for the sake of information, because if you were looking for the information, you would have been reading it somewhere in the net, 5.5 ways to understand friendship, and things like that. But you are not looking for those informations. You are not looking for information. What you are looking for is acceptance, love, stability of your feelings. You want to start feeling. You want your life to slow down. A teacher's responsibility is not to give feelings to the students. Of course, we have a teacher-student relationship at this moment, but a teacher gives his emotion to the students. So if you are investing your 50 minutes, 30 minutes with these episodes, then you are not really looking for that information. You are getting connected emotionally with me. It gives you kind of peace, and therefore without that peace, without that receptiveness, it is very difficult for anybody to understand what a teacher says. The focus is just not there. People says that, in the modern day, people's attention span is 1 minute and so and so. No, never. Humans' attention span is exceptional. We can pay attention up to hours. Just because some people cannot focus because they're too focused on quick things in life, it doesn't mean that that's a reality. Neurology doesn't say that. Physiology doesn't say that. Many of you over here spend your entire 50 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever the video length is, you focus, right? You listen. Not that everything you understand, but you listen because it gives some kind of emotion into you. It helps you to slow down. It helps you, reduces your anxiety. So a teacher cannot give information. Education is not all about what you are seeing or believing. It is all about building an emotional relationship and then trying to see your own life through those emotions. It takes years to learn something and then years to follow those things. But once you start getting into the habit of understanding them, then things becomes easier. Now, what is friendship? At this moment, all of you who are watching this video, if you have reached till this point, you more or less will have all your heart rate at the same range. That will be around 76 to 80. As you are watching this video, male, female, doesn't make a difference. If you watch this video and if you get a pulse oximeter, try to check your heart rate. It is going to be much slower. It's going to be around 76, 80, 82, that kind of range. And the variation will be less. So, this phenomenon is called physiological coupling or neurological coupling. Humans developed a special kind of neuron called mirror neuron. We realized that in order for us to survive, we have to develop new skills. Now, when you learn shoelace tying, you cannot logically explain how you are tying the shoelace. You just do it. You try and then you do it. Then it goes into a section called the basal ganglion, and those habits are stored in your brain. So the way we teach is as we keep on telling stories, interact with the student, their entire physiology they starts getting coupled. You are not in the physical proximity of me. You are watching this video from different part of the world. Some of you are female, some of you are males. And in different situations, some of your life is good, some of your life is not so good. Some of you are struggling, some of you are well settled. Some of you have a lot of responsibility. Some of you are still students. There is significant amount of diversity in all of you who are watching here at this moment. And yet, if you take a pulse oximeter and check your heart rate, it would be around 76 to 80, 82. The reason that will happen is because of the mirror neuron. You don't require physiological coupling. My words has a frequency. My facial movement is radiating some kind of energy through the expression, and your brain is capable of comprehending all this signal and adjusting your body, your entire physiology in a way that you can focus. That is the reason very few people will be able to watch this video till the end, because they are looking for information, they're feelings driven. That is the reason we haven't yet discussed the topics, because I want you to feel that topic. Now, what is friendship? What you are experiencing now at this moment, all of you who are watching these videos are automatically becoming friends. Why? Your brain is synced with my brain at this moment. Your physiology is synced with my physiology at this moment. It is experiencing exactly what I am experiencing at this moment. That would be obviously positive. And if you have watched few of the earlier videos, then so far it's going to be totally locked with my brain. It's almost the way brain receives something from whom it is emotionally attached to. And therefore, friendship is a phenomenon where more number of people are physiologically coupled. Let me repeat, friendship is a phenomenon by means of which more people are physiologically coupled, in the sense, I and you are friends if my physiology is same as your physiology. I and you are friends if my brain and your brain operates at the same frequency. Yes, brain is an electrical organ, right? It operates at various frequencies. Anxious brain frequencies, something like this. Stable brain frequency, something like this, right? That's why emotionally stable brains receive a lot of information. They don't get nervous. So, friendship is a phenomenon of physiological coupling. Now, The reason you all are friends and I am not your friend is, even though your brain is in sync with my brain, I'm operating at a much higher energy level, and you have to operate at a much lower energy level in order to be receiving that. Getting? You are learning, I'm teaching. I have to elevate my emotions and energy to an extremely great level. And then you will all be down regulating your heart rate, down regulating your frequency into slower frequency and energy into lower energy, so that you can receive what I'm saying. So therefore, all of you who are watching this video at this moment are friends, because you'll be thinking alike. Your functioning will be in the same way. So if you meet, then all of you will go along very nicely. So friendship is a phenomenon of physiological coupling. All of you who are listening to this video now at this moment, your brain's frequency is same, your physiology is same, irrespective of your gender. Alright, whether you are a girl and 80 years old, 30 years old, 15 years old, all of you will have the same frequency. So if you happen to meet, you will find the other person just like you. Why? Because all of your brain and physiology are now same in order to receive it from the teacher. So what is friendship? Friendship is a phenomenon which is needed for any humans to learn. Friendship is a phenomenon for every human to learn or to do same work, distribute same work amongst others. Friendship is a phenomenon because physiological similarity means brain's wavelength is also same amongst you. So friendship is a phenomenon of physiological and psychological and neurological coupling. Okay? Coupling, that is, you are same as the other person is same as the other person, which is required to learn or to distribute a work or do a work equally by some people. So for example, if 4 persons are to carry a dead body, they have to be physiologically coupled. They have to be like friends, because then only they can carry the body. Right? All of them are doing the same thing. It's a distributed work. Bad example. But an extreme example, when somebody is carrying a coffin, it's the mortal of the body, all the 4 persons, their physiology has to be same. So, is it that anybody who is together taking a lecture will become friends? No. Of course not. Of course not. Our body doesn't stay in the coupled state for a very long period of time. Immediately after the class, immediately once the session is over, you will slowly come back to your individual profile of physiology and neurology. Now, what will happen is, if few of you are together, you are exchanging notes, you are exchanging ideas, you are discussing about the class, trying to understand, then your physiology will remain coupled for a longer period of time, and then far longer period of time, and then slowly you will become completely coupled with the other individual. So you can go out together, you will feel like, okay, you two are together. You will be creating a shared memory. Your testosterone and adrenaline will get reduced. Oxytocin, which is our social hormone, it will increase. So from individualized experience of the world, you will be seeing the world as a shared experience. You'll have other friends. There is a problem with this though. The whole physiological coupling or mirror neuron in us was developed for the learning purpose itself. So that we could, if I have to teach only one, it's very hard. If I can teach more, it's much more easy. Same way, our ancestors, tool making, not everybody could learn tool making from the ancestor who first made the tools. Only few could make those tools. So, a friendship now is defined as a sustained state of psychophysio-neurological, psychology, physiology and neurology, psychophysio-neurological coupling. Friendship is a sustained, persistent, consistent state of psychophysio-neurological coupling of multiple individuals. There are advantages. All the students together, they become friends. If you are working together in a small project, you become friends because your physiology has to couple. And then, if that friendship remains, you start losing your individuality very soon. You find it very difficult to create a worldview. You always need somebody, a friend, to share the worldview with you. You look for validation because your testosterone and adrenaline has reduced. If you are a man, if you're a guy, your aggression has subsidized. You are more receptive, you are more social. So, your individualized view of the world, individualized understanding of the world will slowly start getting evaporated. Now, for the girls, this is much more dangerous situation. Girls are feelings driven, which is hormone driven. Every second in their body, the feelings are changing. Hormones are changing. In the case of physiological coupling, their feelings get subsidized. The very basic phenomenon that makes them a girl, that makes them experience like a girl, is gone. It's stable. And that is down-regulated. They anyways have less testosterone, so they have a lot of oxytocin, just like they produce a lot more oxytocin. Girls produce a lot more oxytocin. They can experience the social environment, but unlike the normal social situation, in a friendship, her feelings are subsidized, and if she has a lot of friends, of course you understand, the friendship is not possible between the girls because it's a physiological coupling. Two completely shaken states cannot couple, And that's why friendship happens in the college, because there is a teacher who is enabling every student to stabilize their brainwave. So in a class, the brainwave gets stabilized. Beginning of the class, it can be anything, but as the class starts, whether it is girl, boy, everybody's brainwave gets similar. There is a physiological coupling. So when a boy and a girl speak, they can become easily friends. Right? Two girls, they can become friends. Why? Their brainwave is now operating at the same level. But more physiological coupling a girl will feel, she will stop feeling. Friendship, by definition, replaces feeling. Consistent state. There is no hormonal changes. So, when a girl spends a significant amount of time in college, whether with the girlfriends or boy friends, she is already default. Feelings are stable. If she has a lot of friends, feelings will not come back. So she will need a lot of aggression just to collapse that state. She will become adrenaline driven. That's the reason the college relationships, the good friends, wants a person who appeared to be like the one with whom you want to spend your life with. Those relationships become sexless, and those relationships often become very sore. Neither you can go away because there is a physiological coupling. Your brain has started seeing the entire world with respect to the other person. So you are not just one, you're two. But in that two, there is no you. Understand? Friendship is not one. It's a concept of two. It's a two different bodies, but the same physiology. It's a single engine that is driving the two body, and there is no you. There is no you. Your memory goes down just alongside your aggression. Your feelings goes down, your emotion gets changed. Once you have a lot of friends, your brain starts seeing the world from an oxytocin perspective, from a social perspective. And I'm using this word perspective here because I don't want to go deep down into that science at this moment. So, your brain is going to, in a friendship, your brain has devolved itself. It knows that it shouldn't be individual. It shouldn't have to maintain your identity. Two of you are together. You'll be doing things together. The world will be simpler. Brain feels less anxiety. The problem is, there is no profile in the world which two can do together. The lives will be different. Two friends cannot marry to same girl. Right? Two girls cannot marry to the same man. Two girls cannot eat from the same plate, sleep together, eat together, think together, have same life. You can't do that. As humans, our brain looks for that breathing space. Our brain looks for that individuality. So friendship takes away that individuality. That is the reason one who claims to have a lot of friends are extremely aggressive. The reason being, even though friendship reduces the anxiety, there is an underneath frustration of losing the individuality. And when girls say that we are friends, no, that's a default state. If the college environment continues for a long period of time, those who are together, they can have anything but not sex. And in a later life also, this will remain. You need to put a significant amount of effort to come out of your friendship drive. You have to kill those desires, go out, become a lot of individualization in order for life to get settled down. You know, it appears that the world is very simple. We want what the other people have. Girls think that, okay, guys are going into college, so we should always understand there is a consequence attached to believing without digging very deep into the subjects, listening to some people for one line. If one decision of yours, one belief of yours has not gone through 2 to 3 years of thinking, then that's pretty much going to hurt you. So, what we don't tell our children, boys and the girls, is that school and colleges completely de-individualize them into a social animal. The thing is, social animals don't have individuality. So they lead their life with collectiveness. This becomes very easy for the corporations. If it can sell something to you, then it is automatically sold to all of your friends. The reason a boy and a girl cannot be friends is because once a boy and a girl comes together, spends time together, they become physiologically coupled. So the boy is neither a boy, the girl is not a girl. They're just a social being. Social beings don't have any gender. They're not boys, girls, they're just friends. This is a devolution because you understand the girl has lost her change of feelings. The guy has lost his higher testosterone. Both are now being oxytocin driven. So a brain that was kind of individualized, it was driven by individual experiences, individual thought processes, and now being governed by the two. Humans are not born two, right? One child. So if we were desired by the nature to be two always, then nature would have given birth to two of us together. Always we would have born as twins. No, humans are born single. There are twins. There are very few in comparison to the single born child. So the nature wants the human to born individually. So for you to learn in the class, you have to become physiologically coupled. You have to become friends. But then you have to stop that interaction right there, right then. Go back. Don't get in touch with these people. Have your different life. Don't make friends. You see, the problem is friendship devolves. Friendship is a persistent state of psychophysio-neurological coupling. In a state of friendship, you are not a homo sapiens. You are oxytocin-driven, devolving. Your aggression has reduced. Your memory is now a shared memory. Your heart rate is same as your friend. Your thought process is same as your friend. So you are not a living being now. All of you together, you create a something like a herd, sheep herd. So when the girl says, I have good friends in the college, you are my good friend. They don't know. They don't know the definition of friendship. Mostly in this world, it's a simplistic world. There are nobody who is interested to learn really. And therefore, when a girl says that you are my good friend, she is becoming like that guy. She is becoming like that guy. She did not realize this. This is a very messy case, messy situation. You need friends only for doing certain things together, and then you don't need friends. You don't want to have friends, or you want to have different friends. So the thing is, who can be friends? Two very low people cannot be friends. They're already default. So two very high people can only be friends because there is a evolved self and there is a devolution. There is a middle path. They come little below and then they interact. So for example, two extremely high intellect, they can be friends. Because they already have so much of energy, they can down-regulate that energy. A guy and girl cannot be friends. If you are in the college, you are by default friends. Right? You have to kill that friendship. You have to go out and do things of your own. Otherwise, once you come out of the college, you're basically default being. Your body will not individualize again. You cannot create meaningful relationship in your life. The other thing here is, can a rich and a poor be friend? No. If the rich and poor is friend, let's say, I'm not talking about financial richness and finance. I'm talking, let's say, about knowledge. Can you be friends with me? No. If I spend all the time together with you as friends and build share memory, then I'll have nothing to teach you. Can I? I have to always have a much higher energy than you, a higher frequency than you, in order to be able to teach you. So if I spend more time, let's say a teacher spends all his time with the students, then the teacher cannot teach the student because this energy difference is essential. So if two friends marry as husband and wife, both are physiologically coupled, there is no energy exchange. So that relationship is just not possible because there is no energy there. See, stupidity has different forms. And one of the forms is when illiterates starts telling the world what is right, what is wrong. That's fine up to a level, but after a certain time, that becomes extremely toxic. No, friends are not for lives. Friends are not forever. Friendship, by definition, is a psychophysioneurological coupling for a purpose of either doing something together or learning something together. So a sports team, sports member would be friends when they are going to play the game. Students of a teacher would be friends, but only in relationship to that class only. If you say friends are forever, you are oxytocin driven. All your life you live with friends, then there is no you. For females, this is so damaging, they don't even understand. The more time that you spend in college with friends, you're not remaining as a female. It's a default self. For the man, the more time you're spending with lower people, intellectually, you are no more a man because you are intellectually devoid. They are going to couple you physiologically with their energy. So, mother and daughter cannot be friends because by the time daughter becomes 18 years old, even if, let's say, considering that a female was pregnant at the age of 18, even in that situation, she is well crossed 35 when the daughter is 18 years old, and after 35, the gametes, which maintains the X chromosome every month, the genetic material that binds them, that gets weakened. If say if you were married at the age of 25 and had the daughter when you were 28, the daughter is 18 and the time mother is 46, she is already in perimenopausal period. Perimenopausal period in the sense, period of 4 to 10 years before the menopause. And then if the daughter says, I am friendly with my mother, mother is my best friend, then the daughter will be suffering with amenorrhea, a condition where premature stoppage of menstruation happens, and she doesn't know because nobody bothers to understand. This is a concept of friendship. If a daughter says that I am friendly with my father, no, you cannot be friendly with your father. Your father cannot be your best friend, because if your father has to become your best friend, he has to devolve. He is no more a man. And if you are going together as friends, if you think your father is friend, if you perceive that, you are converting your father into a woman. It's a physiological coupling. He is not remaining a man. If you say my son is like my friend, come on. Your son cannot be your friend, because if your son has to learn from you, understand, your son has to learn from you. He cannot become friends, because if he becomes friend, he cannot learn from you. You have to operate at a much higher energy. Your son has to operate at a lower energy for he to be able to learn from you. Same with the daughters. Your father has to be at a very higher energy. You have to be at a very lower energy. For there has to be an energy exchange. If you become friend with your father, you cannot learn from him. You treat him like you are. If you consider that your husband is your friend, my God, there is no energy exchange. You cannot have sex ever. Understand this. This is science. And this is not your perspective. A friendship is a persistent state of psycho-physio-neurological coupling of two individuals where we are driven by shared memory, shared feelings, oxytocin driven. It's a It's a purpose. It's for a purpose. A friendship is a purpose-driven physiological coupling. And that purpose is essentially doing something together and learning something together. After the class, if you are moving around with your other classmates as friends, which we do in college, everything is friends, it is very hard to get out of that situation in life. Understand? People don't want to tell you these factors because this is, of course, you become friendly. 1,000 people become friends. It's easy for the corporation to sell you something. All of you are physiological couple. So if one friend of yours takes a phone, it becomes easier for that corporation to sell that phone to 10 other friends of you. So you become a consumer. You want to own much more to feel more valuable because underneath there is no change. So friends become jealous, envious, hateful, if not with each other, at least against the external world. So when a girl says that I'm friendly with a girl, you are essentially not feeling yourself. You are not a girl anymore. You are default for a purpose, and if you are living most of the times with the friends, you cannot become girls again. And once your feelings are gone, they're never going to come back ever in your life because the body gets adjusted. It's very hard to get your feelings back. So, few years of friendship can kill your inner girl forever. So, friendship is a purpose-driven, physiological, psychological and neurological coupling of two individuals for a learning purpose, for exchanging ideas, for doing things together. But it is limited to that, not for life. It's a purpose. People say that friends don't have any motives. Come on. By definition, you cannot become friends if you don't have a motive. If you don't want to learn, two persons who do not want to learn, see, only those of you who has been able to stay up to this in this class can become friends because now your brains are coupled together. A guy who switched off the video in the first 10 seconds, he cannot be friend with you, right? He is not physiologically coupled. So there is always this purpose. Friend is for a purpose. The neurological coupling happens for a purpose. Because a single person cannot carry a coffin. So there needs of 4 people. There are things that we cannot do alone. Learning we cannot do alone. We just cannot learn alone. That's not how we are evolved. Okay, so 4 people who are going to carry the coffin together, they have to become friends. People who are working in the agricultural field, only up to the level of their agriculture, they have to become friends. That's how the life is. So, friendship is not a relationship. On the contrary, friendship is created by the brain for an extremely important purpose of learning, exchanging ideas and working together. And then when you say colleagues are not your friends, you are killing it. Only colleagues are your friends and only up to the level of that working cycle. If your colleagues are not your friends, you cannot work Come on, who is teaching you all these nonsenses? You are not going to carry your friendship outside a campus, whether it's a college or whether it's your working place. Ever, you never do that. You get physiologically coupled and then you lose yourself. But within a college, you have to be friends. Otherwise, you cannot learn. Within the working environment, you have to become friends. Otherwise, you cannot work. 5 software engineers cannot develop a software together if they are not friends. They cannot. They have to become friends. Then only they can share the responsibility. Individually, you cannot share the responsibility. Anything that you want to share, any responsibilities that has to be shared, can be shared only by the friends. Learning, understanding has to be, it's a shared activity. Sex is not a shared activity, is it? Thinking is not a shared activity. Feeling is not a shared activity. Your health is not a shared activity. Would you want to get cancer if your friend has a cancer? Would you agree to have a heart attack if your friend has a heart attack? No, right? You want to have good life. And you'd convince yourself, whatever my friend has, I should have a good life. At least. You try to uplift them. It doesn't happen. So, friendship also doesn't happen between 2 girls because they are feeling driven. Only it happens through a man. Yes, 2 girls can become friends only through a man because a girl's brainwave gets stabilized only through a man. Only in the case of both of them are learning from the man. And never be proud of your friendship or not proud of lack of it. If you are in a shared environment, if you are doing something good, you should have the ability to become friendly with people only within that purposeful context. And you should be very clear, the friendship is for a purpose. If you are working together in a software project, you have to become friends. Otherwise, you cannot develop that. So you have to be very clear that yes, we 4 have to become friends for this purpose, for this period of time. Then your life is sorted because you now understand the theology, now understand the science, the fundamental, the principle. You go to a workplace and tell, colleagues are not my friends, just do your work, take the salary and go. You are a loser. You cannot become, if you cannot become friendly or friend, if you cannot physiologically couple with your colleagues, your company doesn't desire you because you cannot share. By default, you cannot work together. So friendship is required in the workplace. It is not required in your bedroom. Understand? But if you spend too much time on friendship, then you lose your individuality. And if you don't spend any time in friendship, you lose your social ability. So understand, you have to go out with friends. Go out with friends for a purpose. Either learn together, sit together, learn, or do some work together, then that's fine. Don't indulge in a pleasure activity because pleasure is individualistic. It is a requirement of your brain. Keep friends away from your pleasure activities. If you are going with friends for pleasure, my God, you will lose the sense of the pleasure also. Girls must not have friends. You can. Please remember that you will no more be girls if you have too much friends. So, in this episode of today, we went slow. We just talked, just for your entire physiology to calm down. Then, I explained you about the whole concept of friendship. I wanted you to experience that. I wanted you to experience the difference between the energy of a teacher and a student, something like that, and the friendship as it stands now, with our definition, is two individuals coming together for a purpose. Not individual emotion driven, but more of an oxytocin driven. Not individual memory wise, but a shared memory wise. And friendship is not for life, it is for a purpose. If the friendships are carried for the life outside that purpose, then one becomes friendly, which means that default one is oxytocin driven. In an oxytocin driven state, one loses his individuality. Once you lose your individuality, you lose the sense of pleasure, or you lose the sense of identifying yourself, your own identity. If you lose your own identity, you are by default incapable of creating any other relationship. So, do not even think of marrying a girl who is your friend. Never do that. It may seem that how to live without her throughout the life, but you'll find it so difficult to live together. It's so hard. It's so hard. You can't live together. No. Because you are operating at the same energy. There is no individuality. And without individuality, and identity, a girl suffers. So does a man, of course. Man anyways will not make too many friends and let their energy go down, and so the friendship is not possible between pores. They have so low energy, they have nothing to lower. Friendship is not possible from a low and a high person. You can take anything. I'm talking about intellectuality over here. You can take finance. You can take power, anything. A powerless person cannot be friend with power. No, because powerful person is operating at a different frequency. Powerless person is operating at a different frequency. If they collapse, they cannot collapse. So politician cannot be your friend. An authority cannot be your friend. Okay, so it doesn't happen. Your boss cannot be your friend. Understand? Right? Your boss cannot be your friend. He is operating at a different level. Don't think that your boss is friendly. Don't make silly mistakes in life. Understand life. So your boss is not your friendly. Your boss is your boss. And your boss remains your boss till you remain receptive. And if you want to show your individuality, you should not be in the working environment at the first place. In the working environment, you are not supposed to have any individuality. You are supposed to have collectivism. And once you get out of that workplace, you are not supposed to have any collectivism. You are supposed to have individuality. So, those of you who are friendship driven are at risk, and those of you who do not have any friendship in life, you are also at risk. Because if you have a friend for a purpose, let's say you are drawing, two friends drawing together makes us feel good. 1 hour friendship, good. Two friends going to drinking, your sense of pleasure is dead in your brain then. You're not feeling anything as much as you can feel. Friendship is for a purpose, not for pleasure. If during the pleasure, that is sex, drinking, whatever, If you bring your friends, you lose the sense of pleasure. So with that, we come to an end of this episode. It's gone long. Thank you for your time, energy, emotion. See you in the next episode. And yes, you can buy the book Intimacy Laws for Men from Amazon all over the world now. And also, if you want to listen to the audio podcast, you can go to lifeus.com podcast. And if you want to understand more, relationship dynamics, the blogs are there in the lifeus.com website. You can go and check out over there. And do also share, do also watch this. You cannot share these classes. Do also bring in your friends or try to motivate your friends to watch these videos together. And if it created some value, please give like and subscribe to the channel. Also, please leave your comment behind if you want me to address certain issues or explain you something. Any doubts, please leave behind your question. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you. Have a great day. See you again in the next episode.